Hi, good morning everybody. My name is Mandie Cran and welcome to my moment of reflection for the week. So this week we're going to be talking about why silence is golden. I've been doing these moments of reflection for about 4 years now, and what I'm really trying to help people do is to see the world in a different way, to get out of the rut a bit, to see it from a different perspective, and hopefully change your view of the world, hopefully in a positive way. As we go through, please do like and share. They've been getting lots of views recently, which is fantastic, so please do keep sharing them. So this week we're talking about why silence is golden. And I think it's really interesting that in the English language, at least, exactly the same letters are in silent as in listen. Because we can only really listen when we are truly silent. If we've got thoughts going on around our head and buzzing, we're not actually going to be listening properly to other people. So we need to learn actually how to be silent properly and how to listen properly. Because we can learn an awful lot when we listen truly. And there's 3 areas really I want to talk about today. The first one is about listening to your children. And it's so easy as a busy mum, you've got kids running all over the place, the house is a tip, you're trying to get to something on time, you're going to be late, somebody's forgotten their tennis shoes or whatever it might be, and it's always, come on, we need to go. And it's very easy to get so busy being a mum that you don't actually listen to your children. It's always, yes, tomorrow, and then they're grown up and teenagers and it's too late. So I really encourage you to listen to your children. There's 2 real benefits for that. The first one is that when they're very young, they're always asking questions. They want to know how the world works. They want to learn stuff. And they're real knowledge sponges. And you really need to encourage that. We need to listen to the question they're asking, because they might be asking actually a different question from what you think it actually is. And often it might be deeper or a bit wider than what you thought. But you also need to make sure you give them an age-appropriate answer, because you would give a very different answer to a 6-year-old about where the sun goes at night to a 14-year-old. And so that's why it's so important that you really listen to the question and actually find out what they're asking. But if you do that, you're going to encourage a love of learning throughout life. And that's so important in those early years, because if you don't carry on learning all the way through life, once you leave school, you don't learn anything else. You're not really going to progress, because everybody else is going to be overtaking you on the way through. So it's so important to encourage that love of learning. But the other really important area with children to listen is when they're having a bad day, because when they're small, everything's black and white. And somebody saying something in the playground to them they didn't like will be absolutely the end of the world to them. To you, it's just somebody said something they didn't like. But they need to get that off their chest. They need to know that there's somebody they can trust, that they can talk to, who won't judge them and will understand where they've been, and to give them support. And that's where parents come in and are so important. Because if they get it off their chest, the next morning when they go to school, it's another clean day. They completely forgot what happened yesterday and everything's fine. Unlike adults who will actually brood on it for perhaps months and months at a time. So if we don't let those emotional things come out and actually listen to what people are telling us, they're going to hang on to that all the way through life. And so often we see adults who've got real emotional problems because of what happened in their childhood, when they weren't listened to, they weren't given respect, and they weren't allowed to build trust with people. So it's really important at a really early age that we listen to our children. And sometimes I have to say they have the most hilarious things to say when you listen to them. It's absolutely worth it. The second area that's really important when we listen is if you have a business. If you're in business, you're always finding new clients, new customers, new people to work with, new business relationships to build, and so on. We can only truly help people get to a better place if you listen to what they're saying. There's absolutely no point at all, and you will not build a successful business if all you do is go and force your product or your service on people. You have to listen to what they're looking for, because again, it might not be quite what you think they need. What they're looking for might be completely different. So by listening and remaining silent, you'll actually find out, perhaps asking questions, exactly what they're looking for. And you might not actually be able to help them, in which case don't force anything upon them. But you might know somebody else who will, and you can put them in their direction. And that will come back to you later on, absolutely. So solving a problem in business is really important, and therefore you must listen. That's so powerful. And the third area is actually about listening in nature. In our technological world, technology is growing so fast, the world is going faster, we're always busy doing hundreds of things, we're always in technology all the time. And we rush about, trying to be perfect in everything that we do. And actually, we sometimes just need time to just chill and relax and to slow down and realize actually it's not the end of the world if a text doesn't get sent or an email doesn't get sent or something like that. And so I really encourage you, especially if you live in a town, try and get out into nature a bit. If you live in the country like I do, I'm very lucky. I can walk the dog in the fields and the woods every single day. I effectively have 2 parts of the day where I can just chill, listen to nature, and it's fantastic. But by just sitting quietly for, say, 5 minutes in a wood or a quiet place and actually listening to the birds and the insects and watching the flowers, the trees and so on, the rustling of the leaves, it's a really soothing and calming experience. And what's really interesting is that our world, our human world, is getting faster and faster all the time. But nature isn't. It goes exactly the same pace it always has. There's a wonderful Chinese quote that says, "Nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished." You don't think, That's so true, isn't it? Every year we still get all the seasons, all the trees grow, the plants grow, they die down, they grow again the next year. It's all done at the same speed, and yet somehow it all happens perfectly. I think we can take a lesson from that as well. So having a little step back, take some time in nature, will actually just help us to calm down, see the world in a little bit calmer perspective, and not feel we have to do everything all the time. So I hope you like that moment of reflection for the week. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mandie Cran, and people come to me when they realise that they need to make changes in their life if they're going to have better health and quality family time in the year ahead. And one of the things that I see a lot of, and it's increasing at the moment, is that mums feeling guilty. So if you're working as a mum, because you're at work, you're missing the school plays and the school matches, you can't see your children doing things. And if you're a stay-at-home mum, it's lovely that you can see the matches and so on, but then you feel guilty because you can't afford really nice Christmas presents or birthday presents for the children. So what I'm doing for a short time is I'm offering my personal support to help you through that phase. So I'm doing a special Ditch the Guilt session for mums. And what we'll do during the session is we'll work out why you're feeling guilty and look at the hidden triggers, because it might not always be quite what you think. Find out how we can move forward, and you'll leave with an action plan to hope you feel less guilt-free, more guilt-free in the future. If you'd like to book that, then go to my Facebook page, click on the link on the left and book a slot. I look forward to having a chat to you when you book that. So that's it for this week. Next week we're going to be talking about stars. It's just Christmas after all, so stars is very, very appropriate. 10 o'clock live next week on my Facebook page. Look forward to seeing you there. Have a great week.